Alright, welcome everybody, this is D-Man, and I'm going to do a tutorial video on how to use Fuse, Blender, and GIMP to create clothing, or at least integrate clothing. Welcome everybody, this is D-Man, and I'm going to do a tutorial. Welcome everybody, this is D-Man, and I'm going to do a tutorial video on how to import clothing into Fuse so that you can actually use your own clothing. So let's get started. First thing I would do is go to their website and alright, first thing I would do is go to their website and go to the tutorial. So let's go home. I'm going to show you how to get there. You might have to create a profile, all that kind of stuff. So just create a profile. It's free. So go to Products, Fuse Preview, Get Fuse Preview, and I downloaded this one, which is the full program. So go ahead and download that. I've already downloaded it. Make sure you go ahead and download Blender. Go ahead and download whatever the latest version is. I've already got it, so download that. And GIMP. And download the latest GIMP. So once you got those three programs, it should be Fuse, GIMP, and Blender. Once you have those three, I'm going to go back to the Mixamo. I'm not sure if that's how you say it correctly. Go back to their website. I guess learn. Well, that's not it. Should be a. See, read your characters automatically. Should be. Let's see here. Knowledge base, I believe it is. So if you go to the knowledge base, it should teach you different things you can do. But this one's going to be on how to actually kind of walk through their little tutorial, because they don't give you a video on it, and the videos out there are old and didn't really work for me. So I thought I'd do my own. Knowledge base. I'm going to search. See if clothing will do it. Creating custom Fuse clothing. Alright, this is it. Alright, so if you go there to find the tutorial, I'm going to kind of walk you through the steps I took. I did, like, based off they were saying, couldn't get it to work right and was having problems. So I kind of figured out what worked for me. I'm going to walk you through it. So first thing I want to do is kind of go over this tutorial webpage. Clothing is modeled onto a base character. You can read all this. Make sure that you download this Content Creators Pack, which is, go ahead and open both of these files. When I did, it's this. This is the Content Creator Pack after I unzipped it. So if you open that up, this is the files you get. Obviously, this will be for your body and all that kind of stuff, but example files I'm going to do is, and then you got characters files. Right now I'm working with the clothing. So this is what you need to make sure that you have in wherever you want to create your file. I created created one on the desktop example. Let's see, this is their content. Let's see, desktop, clothing. Where is it? Clothing. Oh, there we go. So basically, I got this T-shirt. Delete this one because try again. All right. So I got T-shirt. This is what I imported the actual item, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So just setting this all up. All right. These are your example files. You need to make sure that you have an AO file, a mask file, a NM, which is your normal file. The AO is the I can't how you say it, occlusion file, the occlusion mask file, and the object itself. So these are the files if you export the files from Fuse, which gives you a diffuse file, a glossy file, a normal file, and a specular file. So let's go into Fuse. This is the model. So I'm going to start this one fresh and delete this shirt. So say you want to create a T-shirt. Make sure that you have the male fit A. Based off the tutorial, it shows you right here, male fit A or female fit A. You just do the opposite if you want to do the female, because I'm going to show the male. So you open the Fuse up, and make sure that you pick all the pieces. So let's just create a new model. We'll start from scratch. Try and show you to make sure. Make sure you have male fit all the parts. Male fit a torso, male fit a leg, male fit a arms, male fit a head. Alright, once you have all these, go ahead and create or save as, and save it as the male A Fuse, or male A, or male fit A. That way you can always go back to it. Because it's like open recent, or you hit open and you can go to open the file. But if you already opened it up, you can go to open recent, male fit A, discard, and it'll open up your male fit A model. That way you have the right one. You have to have this model. So the next thing I did was I picked the clothing that I wanted to alter, change, create, or whatever you want to do with it. So I'm going to work on a T-shirt. So this is the one I picked. I want to create a crew neck. You also got a V-neck, or short sleeve, or whatever model you want to alter. I'm going to alter the crew neck T-shirt. So got the crew neck T-shirt. Make sure you have it selected. Go to textures, and when you're importing importing the clothing, you need to make sure that you have these parts, which I'll show you in a second. The main fabric was red on that mask, and this, well, I'm just going to color the part so you know. the mask was red. The sleeves were the green parts on that mask. The trim, I can't remember what the trim was. Let's see. I think it was cancel. Open. Alright, let's open this one up and close that one. Discard. Maximize. Alright. So the main part is red. The sleeves. The sleeves themselves were green. The trim, and you can always go on this model and just hit any color, just kind of see where it is. Trim's going to be that bottom part, so if I'm not mistaken that was yellow. And I'm basing it off the example one for right now, just to kind of show you what parts, pieces you want to import, and you'll see that here in a second. So that part was yellow. The cuffs, which is this area right here, if I'm not mistaken, was this color. And then the thread was black. Alright, and that's going to be this thread right here. And when you once you get this all to where you want it, go to File, Export, Export Model as OBJ, hit OK, and then save it where you want on the file. I've already got it, so I'll go ahead and pull that open. And this is what it export as, with the exception of this. Let me delete that one. Alright, so when you export your model and you save it, these are the files you get. The files that you want to move over. So basically you want the object itself, this file, the normal file, and make sure it's the top, not the body. So this top are the only two you're going to keep. And so what you want to do is you keep those files and you put them into the blank folder, which would be this file and this file. And what you do need to make sure is that this file has the bump also to it. So you need to go to any software program like GIMP or any Photoshop or anything like that. So what I want to do is then open this up in GIMP. It should automatically open up in GIMP. When it opens up, you need to make sure you get rid of the bump or the bump. So just create a transparency layer and make sure that you just color this area and then delete this. So you eventually get the file that looks like this one. That way it doesn't have all these details from the bump that was imported on you. It just makes it easier when you already got a clothing and you already to color based off these colors. But you need to make sure you have that mask file. You need to make sure you have a normal file, an AO file, a mask file. Now, if you're wanting to put, like, say, a picture or a tattoo or graphics or anything like that, you need to make sure that you let's open this one, close this one out, discard. All right, so basically take any of the background files. You could take this one, or you could take open up any of these files, as long as you have a baseline of what the texture is. So now you're just going to create an overlay. So just add a transparent sheet. I'm going to create a text to go on my shirt, and let's color this color, and Army, since I'm going to create an Army t-shirt, or an Army logo, or Army text to go on my t-shirt. Make sure it's all highlighted so you can change the actual font. I think I was going to do 40, or actually 88, and then you change your font, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to click off from here. I'm going to move it to where I want it. Well, I'm moving the shirt. Just hold shift and over the text, and I'm going to undo what I just did. I'm going to move it. Just hit the arrow keys so you can fine tune where you want it. And then once you get that, make sure it's not highlighted. I'm going to right click to new layer, transparent, okay. And then actually I'm going to go back to it. Okay. Alright, so you're back here and that wasn't working out. So you're actually on the text layer. Hit Control X to cut the item out. Control V to paste it, and hit to new layer, and then move it to where you want it. Add forward shift. I'm going to put it about right there, and then I'm going to arrow it. Use the arrow keys to fine tune where I want it, and then delete that. Make sure you're on the layer. Right click it and layer to image size, and that makes that layer come out to the actual size of the rest of the images you're putting it onto. Once you've got the logo or the image or wherever in the place where you want it, you go ahead and delete the other layer, and then export this. Export as, and I've already exported it, so I'll show you what it looked like. Right here. Let's see, boom. My t-shirts. Alright, so then I have the object, the AO file, the detailed diff. So make sure that these are named accordingly. So the object is APFT t-shirt .obj. So make sure all these are named after the object, just without the .obj. And then this one would be APFT shirt underscore whatever the file type is. AO, detailed diff, mask, the normal, which is NM, and the awk mask, which is this one right here. You're going to create this one. You're going to create this one off from your model itself. So it's not going to be created off the shirt, it's going to be created off the model. And I will do another video showing you how to do that, how to actually create each one of these, just to make sure that you have them. But you want to make sure that you have an object file, an AO, a detailed diff, a mask, a normal, and occlures mask. You don't need the detailed difference. That's just for like if you're going to have a tattoo. If you're going to have a tattoo on a body, or if you're going to have a say a detail a pattern or something you want to put on your shirt. So that's that. So now I'm going to go into importing. Once you've got these files created and you want to actually import them, so go back to Fuse. You're going to delete. You're just going to have the model up, so you're not going to have. You're just going to have the Fit A model to import. It's just best to do this so you make sure you import it correctly. So you go to File, Import, Import Clothing. And then it will pull up this window. It will walk you through the steps. You want to make sure that you select the mesh file, the object that you have. So browse for the object. Let's see, where was mine? Desktop, clothing to t-shirts, my t-shirts, and it won't have the other files. You just have the object. That's what you're wanting to see. So you want to import that object you created, and then hit next. And then you're going to have the display name. You can change that to whatever you want it to show up when you're actually going through your inventory stuff. I'm going to leave it for right now. Make sure that you have it on the right category. This would be tops. So if you're creating the pants, you'd be bottoms. If you're creating whatever you're creating. And then it's going to be, make sure it's clothing if it's going to be clothing. If you're creating a body part, it'd be it would have been under the other import into body instead of clothing. Make sure you have your base body, which is this one, male fit A. Hit next. The first time you do this, it should already populate the files based off where your object file was located. But I'm going to have to do this individually. So that won't, let me close that again to show you. Color mask. That's going to be the one that's mask. Normal maps. That one's going to be the normal map. And that's AO. Ambient occlusion. Which is AO. The occlusion mask, which is the one that you made off from the actual body rather than the clothing in Blender. And I'll show you that in a different video. So make sure that one is picked. And then the detailed overlay. You don't necessarily have to have this one. And that's just if you're doing like tattoos, or on the shirt would be like if you're putting a logo, which I am. So I created this one. And then hit next. Now this part is important. If you just leave it like it is and just have that, I'll show you what happens. If you leave these blank, we'll hit finish. It's going to create the shirt, but it's going to create it incorrectly based off the way you want it. So if you did that, this is what's going to happen. Wait for it to process. I think it's done. So if you click on clothing, once it finishes up, still generating it, and it's going to populate it in here. And click off and click back on, and see now it populated the shirt in there. But let's put it on. You kind of see that it didn't give you the sleeve. It doesn't give you the sleeves, and it doesn't give you. So anywhere that did not have text. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. Anywhere that does not have text. And when I say text, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. File, open recent, mail, discard. Alright, this is what I was talking about text. When you're importing the clothing, and you've got your object, and you've got it under all these categories right, everything going smoothly except for normal maps, AO, and the detail. Alright, this part. This is where I'm talking about text. If you do not have those text in there, that's what's going to happen. The areas that are highlighted on here, if they don't have text by them, will not show up. So the black, make sure you name these to those parts. And that's why it's kind of important to write down what those parts were, those shirts were. The black area were thread, and I'll show you that here what I'm talking about. So black was thread. There was nothing. There was no blue. There was no cayenne. But see, you got green areas. Those are the sleeves, and the magenta is those bottom part, which is the cuffs. And then red is obviously the main fabric. There was no white. The yellow was trim. Alright, so once you got all the stuff labeled based off the colors you had on your map, your color mask map, you're going to hit finish. And then it's going to repopulate, and then you should now see those areas. So I'm going to give it a few seconds. And then let it generate. Generating the thumbnail. Alright, should be done. I don't see anything moving around or anything. Alright, so now it's in there. So now you have your model, and it imported it with colors that you don't necessarily want, but that's fine. This just shows you that it's imported correctly. That you got all the parts, you got all the pieces. Of course, eventually I might want to on that map I might want to color this area. That way I can create a or add it to the trim, but you'd have to do that on your map first when you're prior to importing. Because say if you wanted this T-shirt, the collar right here to be different color, then you need to make sure that's a different color on that map prior to importing. That way, when you hit on trim and you change the color to say brown, then that trim would change to brown. Okay, and why isn't it changing? Trim should be changing. I don't know why it's not. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so when you change these colors, it will change that area, and that's why these are important that you name these when you're importing. Like I said, I'd probably just color that yellow on the map, on the texture map, and that way it would actually show up yellow, or show up so I can change that color. Alright, so I'm creating this Army PT shirt, and I want to make this clothing right here look the way I want when it actually shows up. So go ahead and change your textures, and I'm going to change the main fabric to black because the new Army PT APFT uniform is going to have a black t-shirt. I'm going to copy that color and go to each of these parts, paste. The trim I want, paste, I want it that color. The cuffs I want that color. And the thread I want that color. And so now the shirt looks like I want it to look. Say it doesn't and the color was either too glossy or whatever, you just go in here and change the glossiness. And kind of tweak with these until you get it to the way you want it. And then copy and do what I just did, paste on each of these. But I'm going to Control Z because I want it the way it is, so it's fine. Alright, so you go into clothing, it's still not showing up the way you want it. But you want this to look like this. So when you actually say put your character and you put this shirt on them, it will actually look like this. What you do is make sure you go back to textures, you've got the item that you want it to look like, and hit set to default. So when it's done and you go back to clothing, in your clothing inventory, there it is. So let's go ahead and create new model, discard everything, and let's just create a character. Let's say a zombie male. Let's give it a different type feet, and let's give it a different type arm. And let's give it a different type head. And I'm assuming that the whole model is based off the torso. So let's change this to this one. See if the whole model changes, or if it just, see if it just still stays white. Alright, wait for it to load. Okay, texture. So skin tone. So I guess it originates based off whatever torso you first picked. Let's see, reset. See, and it looks like it's not resetting. So let's say you didn't want that white zombie. We're just gonna redo this. I mean, yeah, I can go with the white body, but I was just like, you know what, it's not quite what I wanted. Let's see, muscular B. Just kind of see if the shirt will actually go onto the model correctly. Haven't really done this part, but let's see. Alright, and make sure the color's coming in. Alright, and let's do head. Alright, so we got our model. Now let's put that shirt on. Now it looks like it's coming on almost fully correctly. You just have a little and for the most part, the shirt is fully on him, and it's textured to him. So let's go back to change the torso. I'm gonna hit the male fit A, and the shirt still. Let's see. I'm gonna refresh it. Okay, I did not pick the torso. It just, my mouse auto clicked. Male fit A. Try it a little differently. Fatigue A. Alright, now let's just pick say they want different feet. So it's not going to really matter for the shirt, but I do have a different body than that. Let's see, click this arm set. Alright, so you got a model and it's different than the fit A. And let's see if the clothing comes back on properly. And so it looks like it looks like it worked this time. I think the first time you do it, it just didn't turn out right. And the actual wording or whatever item you put on the shirt is actually to the shirt rather than being like, oh, um, not what you wanted. So the next thing I gotta do is I gotta create some shorts to match this shirt. And I'm gonna kind of walk through the same steps, but for right now I'm just gonna leave it. But so basically that's how you actually create your own clothing. Is just make sure that I found it's easier if you just open up Fuse, pick the item you want to actually change or edit. So like I said, if you wanted to create the T-shirt, then just go to the T-shirt on here. There you also have the V-neck, but I created based off of the crew neck, and then color. I'm just advising you to color it, texture, and you can always just change the color. You just need to make sure that when you actually import it, it's those colors: the red, the green, the yellow, the magenta, the black, the blue, and those colors. But just so that you create the mask right, just make sure that you color each one of these and take note which color you color these, so that when you actually create that mask, that you create it corresponding. And like I said, make sure that these colors that you create, each one of them, if it's red or if it's green or if it's blue, that when you're painting it on those maps, that is these colors. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just leave them in the comment section. Hopefully this was helpful. And until next time, this is D-Man signing out. Okay, there we go. Come on. Let's see, taskbar. Alright, until next time, this is D-Man signing out.